A bed behind you?
Yes.
Okay.
And then as he points over my shoulder, he grabs me and turns me to him. And that was a shock. And I try to push him away. And I only weighed probably 120 pounds at that time. He was a very large man. And I kept telling him, no, this is, I don't want this at all. And I'm sure I must have said, you must have had the wrong idea. And he wouldn't listen. You know, there was no way that he would listen to what I was saying. And he grabbed me again very forcefully and started biting on my top lip. And this was extremely painful. I thought he was going to bite my lip off. It was, and that's when he pushed me back onto the bed.
He bit the top of your lip.
Yes.
Pushed you onto the bed.
Right.
And then what happened?
And then it's been so long and it's just so hard to go into. I need to stop. You know why? Why is it still so painful?
What's going through your mind right now?
That I'm afraid of him.
You're still afraid of him?
Yes. But I'm still afraid, especially if she becomes president. And I know it's looking that way. So it's frightening, Aaron. It's frightening.
He throws you onto the bed.
Right.
And then what did he do
And
to
I was
you?
completely dressed. I had on a skirt and a blouse, and he tore the waist of my skirt. And then he ripped my pantyhose, and he raped me. It was very vicious. I was just pinned down. And it was a very helpless situation. I did not know what to do. I was so frightened. I was only 35 at the time. And it was horrible. I just wanted it to be over with. So he would go away. You know, so he would
He
just...
got up?
No. He held
stayed
me
on
down
you?
for a long time. And then he did it again. I was so ready for him to leave me alone when he started raping me again. And it was very brief. And he did get up and he straightened himself, and my mouth was bleeding and it was hurting. And he just straightens himself and goes to the door.
With you still on the bed?
Yes,
And you're
crying. He straightens himself and he goes to the door and puts on his sunglasses and tells me to get some ice on my lip. And goes out the door.
About how long did everything last?
Probably all of it. From the time he walked in the door until the time he left, not more than 25 or 30 minutes.
So when he was still on top of you, after he did it the first time, you thought it was over?
Yes.
And did he say anything to you? Or he just did it again?
He did say something, but it's just too horrible. I don't want to repeat it. But then he started again. And that was brief, and then is when he got up.
Did you feel trapped? This big man on top of you?
Oh my goodness, yes. He would push down on my left clavicle, and it hurt so much. I thought my clavicle was going to break. And my lip was just ballooning out 4 times the size that it should have been.
While he was raping you?
Yes.
Was the lip bleeding?
Yes.
When he first came up to your room and he grabbed you after you were looking out the window, what went through your mind? Did you...
I thought that I could tell him no and he would go away. You know, I thought, uh-oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And I could say, no, I don't want this at all. And he would leave. And it seemed to make it worse.
It seemed to make it worse.
When I said no.
Did you blame yourself at first?
Oh, yes.
For letting him up to your room?
Yes, very much. That was the mentality of the 70s. You allow a man to come to your room and it's your fault. You know, whatever happens, that's something you just have to lump.
So in other words, on top of being raped, you went home blaming yourself.
Yes.
For Bill Clinton's rape.
Yes.
You blamed yourself.
Yes. And they come in early from the kitchen area. And just before they do...
They would be Bill and Hillary.
Bill and Hillary Clinton. And just before they do, a gentleman who had driven them from the airport comes straight over to me. He was a very... He was supporting Clinton, but he didn't know what had happened to me, even though he was a friend. And he said, the topic of the conversation all the way from the airport was about you. And that startled me. And I knew I had to get out of there. Well, just as he moved, here comes Hillary straight for me. And she gets to me and she starts saying, I just want to thank you for everything you are doing in Bill's campaign, and it's so nice to meet you, and all of these things. So I just nodded and told my friend, let's go. And I thought somebody from behind had grabbed a hold of my arm, but it was her. She grabbed a hold of my arm and my hand, and she pulls me into her, and she says with this very angry look on her face, which had been so pleasant seconds before, and in a low voice says, do you understand everything you do? And that frightened me.
Do you think at that point she knew that Bill Clinton raped you, or do you just think that she knew something happened? What do you think she knew?
At that moment, people have asked me that, said, well, do you think she knew what happened? At that moment, and I have to go by what I felt then, and the look that she gave me, I felt like she knew. And
that he raped you?
Yes, and that she was telling me to keep quiet.
Keep quiet about her husband's rape?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I know.
You did the right thing. It's not your fault, okay?
I know.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I know.
You know that?
Oh, I know it. I know it now. It's just so hard to go over it again.
I know. You didn't do anything wrong, okay?
Yeah.
You didn't, okay?
Yeah.
I love you.
Hillary Clinton is a fake feminist. No woman who advocates for women attacks the victims of sexual assaults, be it by her husband or anybody else. And that's the reason I'm here, because I want everyone to know that this woman is not an advocate for women. She is a fake feminist.
Absolutely.
I mean, but she's making video after video. It's a huge part of her campaign. What do you say, though, to the millennial voters out there who see this and who believe that Hillary stands for women?
Oh, I think they need to research and to understand that Hillary is not for women. She needs to research what Bill Clinton and she did to all of us.
Absolutely. You know, they called us bimbos, you know, drag $100 bills through a trailer park and you don't know what you're going to come up with. You know, the bimbo eruption. I mean, she hasn't tried to talk to any of us women. Has she ever tried to talk to any of y'all?
No, absolutely not.
To apologize or ask about what her husband
What do
says?
you think about her calling you bimbos? I mean, you are the women that were called that name.
Oh, I think it was so disrespectful. But that's how she had to try to get a handle on the situation.
Right.
She was disrespectful to all of us. And she had these people handle this, what she called bimbo eruption.
Instead of reaching out to us and asking us and finding out for herself, you know, whether she believed us or not, then she would have known. But she didn't care to. Instead, it just kept going about we were unworthy, we were just bimbos, we were white trash, you know, all of that. And that's exactly what she's always done. If she really cared about us as women, we are women, aren't we? Okay, so why didn't she try to reach out to us and ask us? And then she could have made a logical decision on her own whether she really believed us or not, which she would have believed us.
We've been called bimbos, whores, sluts, trailer trash. Can you think of any others that are any worse?
No.
I can't.
Just all of it,
Looney Tunes. And why should she get a pass? She's got a lot of nerve over the years.
And
She's
all the
done
stuff that
the worst.
Bill Clinton has done, yeah, and
Yeah.
she's defended him, she's accepted it, and she's covered it up for him.
Do you three believe that Hillary is an enabler? Is that the right terminology to use for her?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, yes.
There's not a better word
No.
for any of this, especially when she threatened me personally.
She's complicit in everything he's done.
Yes.
She's helped him do it.
The rhetoric, the conversation that we're having is that, well, you know, you three and others are about Bill's infidelities. This is just, you know, Bill Clinton and his infidelities, and that's all. What do you have to say to that? How do you react to that kind of a conversation? That this is just Bill's indiscretion.
It's not
His
indiscretion
infidelities, I mean,
at all.
this is not okay. We didn't agree to do this stuff. He
Yeah,
pushed
this is
himself on us.
criminal. We
Yeah.
were not willing to the acts that he performed.
Absolutely
We were
not.
not willing participants. These were crimes.
Criminal stuff here that he's done.
This is what I would like to say. Rape, physical assault, sexual assault, sexual harassment. I want to say this to the mainstream media, Andrea Mitchell, Jake Tapper, all of these people. These are not infidelities.
No. It's
A
crazy.
rape is not an infidelity. These are crimes. Any other people would be in jail.
Yes, they
Yes.
would be.
They would be in jail for a very long time. This is no longer about infidelities, indiscretions, girlfriends, sex, interns, none of those. This is about a serial rapist, a predator, and his wife who has enabled his behavior
Yes.
all of these years.
Amen.
She's taken personal betrayals and turned them into political opportunities, and it's just
Yes.
that
Yeah,
simple.
we three are
He
victims.
exposed himself to me. That's a crime. They're not supposed to expose yourself to people.
These are not infidelities.
So in other words, it's not just about Bill, because people are saying also, okay, so Bill raped Juanita Broaddrick. Bill sexually assaulted Kathleen, Willey, and Paula Jones, but that's Bill's issue. Hillary has nothing to do with that.
And there's others. We're not
And
the
she
only ones.
And there are
covered
others.
this
She's
up.
But
covered
this
it
is
up.
only about
She-
Bill. That's what they're
It's
saying.
not.
It's
She's
not.
turned a blind eye
That's
for
the point.
decades
She knows
against
it's
what
happened.
he has done.
Yes.
And she's been the main one to help cover this up and go after us.
After us women, that's right.
Going after you, intimidation and other things. What if she becomes president? I mean, let's just contemplate this for a minute. Hillary Clinton in charge of the military. Hillary Clinton in charge of the CIA, the NSA, multiple intelligence agencies. Hillary Clinton, the most powerful person in the world. What does that, just think about that for a minute. What does that do to you?
It terrifies me, and it should
Terrifies
terrify all
me.
women. It should terrify all women.
It should
All
terrify all men
people.
and women.
Yeah, people.
She will annihilate any enemy, all of her enemies.
Don't go against
anybody
her.
who's spoken against her.
Exactly.
Any across the board for I don't know how many years. She will get rid of them. She will spend her entire
How can this not scare
administration.
people?
She will spend her
Yeah.
entire administration ruining these people. That's what she will do.
Right.
Instead of running the country.
It's frightening.
How can they not? How can Americans not be frightened about this? How do they think we're sitting here, all three of us, and we're making this stuff up? How can they not be in fear for this woman to run our country and to sit up there and pretend like she cares about anybody, much less a female, and that we're scared for our lives? I mean, basically,
Sure.
anything could happen. She could do anything or say anything because she's gotten away with everything. The Clintons have gotten away with absolutely everything. Nothing ever sticks to them.